Now we'll look upon the next concept on heating effect of electric current. That is, what will happen if how heat is produced when a current is passed through a conducting wire. Okay, so the next concept would be on heating effect of electric current. Now how generally a heat is produced when a current is passed through a conductor. Okay, let us assume that we have a conductor, okay, of a particular length L, okay, and since suppose that we have applied a potential difference across the ends of the conductor, okay, across the two ends of the conductor we have applied a potential difference or a EMF, okay, of value E. Now since this conductor will contain, since this is a metallic conductor, it will contain a large amount of free electrons on its surface. Okay, so after applying the electric field, okay, or the EMF, okay, an electric field will be induced, and this electric field in turn it will cause the electrons to drift in the direction from the low potential to the high potential of the EMF. Okay, that means the electrons will drift in this direction. Okay, now while drifting in the direction from low potential to high potential, okay, it will collide with the positive ions which are present in the metal surface. Now as it collides with the positive ions in the metal surface, it will transfer its energy to that positive ions. Okay, so because of the transfer of the energy to the positive ions, that positive ions will vibrate with much more that will vibrate with vigorously. That is, much more vibrations will occur on that positive ions, and that would result in the heating effect of that material. Okay, now generally in heating effect is an undesirable effect, but we can use this heating effect for even for our better applications, like the most common applications for the heating effect of electric current would be seen in the electrical iron or maybe in electrical heaters, water heater or room heaters, okay, where we can find the application for this electric heating effect for the electric current. Okay, now what we can do is now here is derive a relationship between the heat or the power that is heat or the work that is done when an electron transfers its energy to the positive ion. Okay, so let us derive that relationship. Okay, now in order to derive that relationship, let us assume that the potential difference between the ends of the conductor is V. Okay, and this potential difference V is causing a charge Q, okay, to travel through this conductor in a time t. Okay, so we know that potential difference is actually a work done, okay, work done on a charge, that is on this charge Q, okay, to move it from one end of the conductor to the other end of the conductor. Okay, that is across the circuit. Okay, it is the work done to move the charge across the circuit. Okay, now if we want to calculate the work done, okay, work done would be potential difference multiplied by the charge. Okay, now this flow of charge will result in some flow of the current. Okay, so we can replace this charge with the term I into T that indicates the rate at which the current is flowing across the conductor. Okay, now this is the work done. Now work done in circulating a charge once round the complete circuit. Now if we'll use Ohm's law, we can say from Ohm's law that V is equal to I into R. Okay, so this relation can be substituted here to get the work done. That will give us IR times I into T, okay, which is same as I square RT. Okay. Now this work done is same as the work done by the charge. Okay, so this is same as the heat that is generated in the electrical network. That is, heat and work done are the synonymous or the analogous quantities. So we can replace this work done with the heat that is produced on the circuit, on the conductor, and this is same as I square times RT. Now here we can see that the heat that is produced in the wire is directly proportional to the resistance of the wire. Okay, okay. If for a steady flow of the current, okay, that means for a high value of resistance, the heat that would be generated would be very large. Okay, so this is the concept which we will be using when we go for the applications like electrical iron. Okay, wherein we will be using a coil of very high resistance so that we can generate a large amount of heat. Okay, that is our purpose. We can also have written this. We could have also written this expression in terms of voltage. Okay, if we would have substituted I as V divided by R, we could have obtained a relationship in terms of voltage, and that would have been V squared by R times T. Okay, so both these quantities indicates the heat that is generated when a potential difference V is applied across the ends of the conductor to cause a charge Q to flow across it in a time T. Okay, now just we'll in a brief we'll discuss what happens inside an electrical iron or a water heater or a room heater. Okay, generally we want that these equipments, these devices, to produce a large amount of heat, and in order for these devices to produce a large amount of heat, we need a coil. Okay, a coil that will give us a large amount of resistance so that it can generate a large amount of heat. So generally the coil in this case is made up of an alloy. Generally it is a nichrome alloy. Okay, since this alloy has the property that the resistance of this nichrome alloy is very large, so the heat that will be produced by it, okay, when a current I will flow across it, is also very large. Okay, and this coil is in turn connected with a connecting wires. Okay, and these connecting wires are generally copper wires, and since copper wires have very low resistance, okay, the heat that would be generated because of this copper wire would be negligible in comparison to the heat that is produced by the coil. Okay, and it is these coils which help us to obtain a large amount of heat, okay, for our applications. Now what we can do is we can get what amount of power, okay, after discussing the work done, what we can see what amount of power is delivered to the load, okay, or in more specific way we can go to find the maximum power that can be delivered to a load. Okay, now since power is same as the rate of performing work, okay, so from here what we can see is that the power is the rate at which the work is performed. Okay, so in our case this is same as saying that the power is same as I square times RT divided by T. So this would be I square R. Okay, so in a conductor, okay, or in a metallic conductor, the power, okay, that is the rate of performing work, is same as I square R. Okay, or in general we can also write it as V times I. Okay, so now we'll derive the relationship, okay, between the resistance capital R and the internal resistance of the cell to obtain the maximum power at the load or at the resistance R. Okay, so we'll see what I mean.